So in case you haven't seen, this week, Boss announced a new pedal called the Plugout, and the internet is rightfully so, in my opinion, kind of up in arms about it. Now, the Plugout FX is a digital multi-effect pedal that's sort of designed to compete with the likes of Line 6 with the HX1, Zoom, TC Electronics, a few other companies in this space that do this kind of one pedal that does a lot of different things. I call it like a wild card pedal. In fact, I have a Line 6 HX1 on my pedal board. I love it. It's great. It does everything that I want it to do, and it helps fill in gaps in my sound on my rig when I need it. So when I first heard about this pedal from Boss a few weeks ago, initially I was excited. I was into it. I thought, yeah, this will be cool to have a company like Boss jumping into this side of the market and see what they can do. And it was also exciting because they were gonna, reissue some of their more sought after, more collectible and hard to find pedals like the Slow Gear, for example. So when they reached out to me and asked if they could sponsor a video on my channel featuring the Plugout, I said, yeah, that sounds cool. I can find an angle that'll work. A little inside baseball here. Whenever I get reached out to by a company that I want to work with featuring a product, if they're paying my sponsor rate, my flat fee to sponsor a video, I don't do a typical sort of review or demo or anything like that. Instead, I like to find some kind of angle where I'm teaching a concept or talking about an idea where you, the audience, get something out of the video, whether or not you're interested in purchasing the piece of gear that I'm talking about. This is a win-win situation for me as a creator, for you as the audience, and generally for the company that's sponsoring the video. So that was my plan with the Plugout. I was going to use it to talk about some kind of concept about tone or playing. That was until they actually announced the pedal this week, and I found out more information than what they initially pitched me. The way it was initially pitched to me was that it was a single unit, one pedal at a time, but you could load lots of different Boss pedals. In fact, it comes loaded with 8 preset slots, and then you can add up to 8 more. And then in the future, starting in January of 2026, they said that we would have the ability to add other pedals. Now, I don't fault the guys at Boss who were pitching me on this. They're, part of a big corporation. They've got bosses who have bosses. It's, part of working in that industry. They didn't make the decision to do this. But it wasn't until the pedal came out this week that we all found out more information about what's actually going on here. And that is Boss seems to be jumping headfirst into the subscription, pay for play, you will own nothing and like it game. A few other creators have made great videos on this. I'll have linked down below. I think KDH made a great analysis of this. If you watch his video, he goes much more in depth and detail into how this is all working and the structure. And I don't want to just reiterate what he said in his video. So link to that's down below if you want to know more information. But sort of the quick Cliff Notes version is when you buy the pedal from Boss, you pay the retail price and it comes loaded with 8 effects. So you have the 8 preset slots, and then 8 sort of open slots, wildcard slots, if you will, where you can download other Boss pedal sounds from the app onto the pedal. Cool. So far, there's nothing wrong here. In the beginning in January of 2026, the plan is to start offering more pedals, more algorithms, a wider array of effects that you purchase for a price of $10 and then install onto the pedal.
We are happy to announce that more effects will be added via Model Pass from January 2026. As we add new models to our app, you can try them out in demo mode. You'll get 30 seconds of sound before a short 2-second break. If you like what you hear, they can be purchased and added directly to the PX1 to one of the available slots inside the unit.
Now, even that in and of itself, I don't necessarily have a problem with. We see this all over the place in our industry. The problem that I see here is that instead of purchasing the plugin, so to speak, or purchasing the pedal or the digital version of the pedal, you're actually spending that $10 and purchasing a license to use the pedal, not to own the pedal. And I want to stop here and be clear. This is all speculation. This is my opinion. It doesn't take much thought to see how this could potentially go south for us, the consumer, in the future. For example, yeah, it's $10 now, but what happens if in a year or two, Boss comes out and says, oh, actually, we're changing the terms of service, and instead of the one-time $10 licensing fee that you've already purchased, we're actually going to change it to a monthly subscription that you pay for as part of your roll-in cloud subscription to have access to the things that you've already purchased. Or if we go even further into the future, what happens when they decide to stop supporting this? This is digital technology, and like all digital technology, it gets outdated and antiquated and left behind. The reason this is bugging me so much, and the reason I'm making this video, is that I think we as consumers in this industry need to step up and make our voices heard now, because I think this is a sign of things to come. Boss is the biggest pedal manufacturer in the world. And I think other big pedal companies and other big gear companies are looking at Boss right now and the potential success or failure of the Plugout pedal to determine whether or not they're going to start to go down this subscription pay for play kind of route. In fact, we've already seen this kind of behavior from companies in other industries, like the auto industry, for example. There's been several examples from the last few years of companies like Mercedes and BMW where you purchase one of their cars that come included with hardware that you don't have access to use unless you pay them an extra fee or subscription fee on top of. There was a Mercedes, for example, that would allow you to unlock faster acceleration through a monthly subscription, or BMW that would lock out certain features like heated seats behind a paywall unless you paid for that monthly subscription. I think this is not a very good sign, especially when you look at sort of the precedent that's been set from companies like Line 6. They released the Helix, over 10 years ago now. And as a Helix and HX Stomp owner for most of that time, they're continually issuing updates that include new amp models, new effects, new features, stability improvements, quality of life improvements that are at no additional cost to me as the consumer. I already bought the hardware. I bought into their ecosystem, and that's part of what I'm buying is the continued support and future upgrades. But with this system that Boss is putting out, you're not only spending the $250 on the actual hardware, but then you're going to have to spend more money to get access to the updates in the future. Again, allegedly. I don't know the ins and outs of how all of this is going to work. And I think this is probably still up in the air from Boss, especially given the backlash that I'm seeing from the guitar communities online about this stuff. So I'm sure it's a great pedal. I won't be featuring it on my channel, not because I hate Boss or anything like that. I love Boss. I have lots of Boss pedals. I've worked with them in the past on sponsored content here on this channel, and they've been fantastic to work with. But I'm making this video because I think it's important that we make our voices heard as consumers in this industry, that we don't want this. I don't want another subscription. I don't want to have to create a Roland Cloud account to use the pedal that I purchased and put on my board. In fact, if I go back a number of years, the Eventide H9, I got rid of for this very reason. It was an incredible sounding and capable pedal, but I hated the fact that I had to purchase certain algorithms and sounds to install in the pedal, and the user interface meant that I pretty much had to use the pedal with my phone and the Bluetooth. I just hated it. So I got rid of the pedal. I don't want this. There's nothing less inspiring to me than trying to dial in a sound or, get a creative idea pulled up and say, oh wait, hold on. Let me open up the app, pair my phone. I got to switch this thing out really quick and change this around. It's just not for me. So Boss, I love you guys. I love your products. I love what you've done for music over the last 40, 50 years. There's no question that this company has had a massive impact on the progression of music and art and culture worldwide because of their products. It's a great legacy. I just really don't want to see you go down this path because I don't think it ends well for us. But I want to know your thoughts. Is this something that you're interested in? Do you care about this at all? Are you going to buy a Plugout and put it on your board? Or are you more along the lines with me where this is kind of a canary in a coal mine? This is a sign that doesn't bode well for us in the coming years in this industry. Let me know what you think. If you want to support the channel, please subscribe down below. Check out my video courses. Everything's linked in the description box below. I appreciate you watching. My name is Rhett Shull, and I will catch you very soon on the next video.